room and meeting rooms from third floor, second floor, and fourth floor.
Right.
Those are all meeting rooms. Now, the whole structure can carry up to 1,000 people in it. Now, the significance of this is that it was an idea that Konza needed to attract residents and global village to the Technopolis. Now, the best way to do that was through a conference facility. And of course, when people come for conference, they'll need a hotel and accommodation. So hotel was also part of it. But then to make it even more conducive, we also provided office spaces. So that residents and visitors and investors could find also space where they can work. So that is how that has been envisaged. Now, this conference is part of our program for next year. It's currently under construction. The whole superstructure has been completed. But then we'll be hosting International Association of Science Parks conference next year in September. Now, we are working to ensure this conference is ready to host the delegates that will be coming to Kenya. The conference will be held in KICC, but then the General Assembly we envisage it to be held in the conference facility.
And you've talked about a global village, an approach where all people could come here. You can push FDIs, foreign direct investments, is around 500 million. And our goal is $10 billion. So this would push it. You're saying that next year there is a possibility of a lot of investors coming in and looking at, the digital economy structure of our country?
Correct. So with that conference, the ISP conference, it will bring the association of all science parks, about 400 associations will be coming here. We target to have about 1,500 international guests coming. And of course, when we include all the science parks and all the innovators in the country, we expect to host about 3,000 delegates coming. And that means basically that we'll be putting Kenya in the global platform, where now people can begin to realize that Kenya actually is the hub of innovation. And the way we position ourselves as Konza Technopolis with our partners, we want to position ourselves and the country as that global platform where innovation activities happen.
And of course, this isn't just, and even from your office, we were seeing that the view is spectacular. And maybe you get to see how exactly Konza City looks from above. You've spoken about how it's usually divided into bands. What exactly does that mean? Do you believe that with the structure that has been forged right now, the bands could be expanded not only within the 5,000 acres and even beyond?
Yes, actually, we worked with the three counties. The county government of Machakos, county government of Makueni, and county government of Kajiado. We've worked together with them to plan also the buffer zone. Buffer zone is about 10-kilometer radius of Konza Technopolis. That means when we have the buffer zone plan approved, it means that we are able to extend the development that has happened in the Technopolis into the three counties. And that will basically help us to ensure that the investment that has been put here has been will be able to be protected from informal settlements that happen within any urban development. So we've done that by ensuring that we have a buffer zone development plan that is currently undergoing approval by the three counties.
And then you're telling me that Konza City could span through three counties. This already looks like such a large piece of land. I feel like we hear 5,000 acres and we don't really get the perspective. We don't put it into mind that 5,000 acres is a very large chunk of land. Phase 1 is complete. Phase 1 has been bought. Where are we going? What is phase 2? Where is phase 3?
Now, where we are is the technology band, as per the master plan, and it is in phase 1. Okay. Now, if phase 1 is in the middle, now this other side is phase 2. And then this other side of the technology band is phase 3. Now, that means that we already have investors who have been settled in phase 2 and phase 3. In phase 2, we have the digital media city,
Right.
If you look somewhere here in the horizon, you'll be able to vision where the digital media city will be placed.
Right.
Now, that means we've already opened up phase 2. We'll just be linking them up with the infrastructure so that we are able to provide them with the necessary utilities required for the data development. Now, when you look at phase 3, we already have Konza Medical City coming up, and we are currently in the process of processing, and very soon we'll be doing a groundbreaking for Konza Medical City. Now, when you listen recently, when the president was at the Belt and Road Initiative in Belt and Road Initiative Summit in Beijing, we were able to sign about 11 investors who have already expressed interest to invest in Kenya, and more specifically in Konza Technopolis. Now, those investors are already here, and they're ready to break ground. We are working on the final details to ensure that we are able to have them break ground. And when they break ground in that area of Konza Medical City, we'll be able to have opened up phase 3. And that basically means now organically the whole city can thrive.
Right. And a lot of people wouldn't know this, but there's a lot of horizontal infrastructure that you cannot see now that is going on underground. And of course, now we'll be moving down to see what exactly is this horizontal infrastructure, how exactly is it working, and how would it be beneficial for the people who could be taking up this land.
For sure.
Right. So we'll go downstairs now.
Yes, we'll go downstairs. But basically, before we go downstairs, I wanted to explain to you the various facilities. Now, here where you are seeing the, we are digging some pots. We'll be planting trees here from tomorrow. We have this initiative of Konza Greening Initiative, where every Friday we are planting trees in Konza Technopolis. The president is very clear on the target to achieve 5 billion trees by 2032. So we are already in progress. Every Friday we plant trees to ensure that we provide an environment that is green. Now, if you look at the master plan of Konza Technopolis, we have a ratio of about 60% occupied by infrastructure and buildings. Then 40% we've allocated for green. That is the parks and all the green aspects that is required. We have about 1,000 acres which we've allocated as a wildlife corridor. Now, that is an area where we provided for wildlife, because in this ecosystem, if you look far away, you'll be able to see the wildlife also that we are coexisting with. So it was important that we were able to provide an environment where we ensure that biodiversity is well taken care of. Yeah.
And now we must move downstairs, go see the horizontal infrastructure. For any Kenyan who wants to buy a parcel of land, what does that mean for me? How is it practical for me? What is this horizontal infrastructure? So we head on down.
Yeah, thank you.
So Mr. John Paul, from the sky perspective, now we're on the ground. We're seeing Konza Technopolis from a very different view. Of course, now we can see, or rather we can assume, this is where the horizontal infrastructure is going on. Maybe if you could just give us an insight, what exactly is happening underneath this establishment?
So the horizontal infrastructure entails the streetscapes. That encompasses the road network. The road network has subsurface utilities. Now, the subsurface utilities here speaks to the electrical network, the internet, fiber connectivity, the irrigation network, the stormwater drainage, the water reticulation, that brings the treated water to be used in the irrigation network. We also have the power, electrical network and ICT. Also, apart from the stormwater drainage system, we have the underneath utilities, where now any service provider that will come will not have to dig the already constructed road, but we'll just find the utility corridor provided for them just to go underneath and lay the network that, for example, when you go to Nairobi, you find most ISP and network providers digging the already constructed road. In Konza, we will not have such. Because we've already provisioned for a utility tunnel where such network facilities can be laid without necessarily digging the ground.
Right, and that's essentially a ready-made land for any developer, investor, business, authorities, agencies, government offices. And now that we've already, gone into the nitty-gritties of Konza Technopolis, 2030 is when we expect to see this place coming to life. What exactly are the commercialization aspects? Say I want to buy land. What are the steps I can take? How much does it cost for a business or even me as an individual?
Now, the land that we have in Konza Technopolis, we are actually not selling it. We are leasing it. Because being a government agency, government is not in the business of selling land. But providing an enabling environment for investors to thrive. So in our case, we've already marketed all the parcels. We've master planned all the parcels. And we've provided for a land disposition framework where now investors just need to express interest. You can write, you can come to Konza Technopolis, you write, you present your documentation. If you are an individual or you are a company, of course, dealing mostly with the companies, the registered companies that express interest in acquiring land. So we are able to allocate land based on the land uses that investors have applied, and also based on the capability of an investor. Because again, we in Konza Technopolis, we do not want to have speculators. Therefore, all investors that are interested in getting a parcel will be able to pay a stand premium, which is actually very affordable because it speaks to the value that the government has placed on the land in as far as all utilities that have been provisioned is concerned. Therefore, we are open to all investors who come in. We are able to allocate land in a first come, first serve basis. And then investors are given, once the lease has been registered, investors are given 18 months to complete their design and mobilize resources so that they can break ground and put up their vertical infrastructure. In phase one of Konza Technopolis, we are working with the developers. As I mentioned earlier, for a city to be smart, you first need the brick and mortar before you now use the ICT and ICT-enabled services. Therefore, in the Technopolis, we are now encouraging developers to put up structures so that now the smart aspects of the Technopolis can be ingrained in the development that is happening. We've also provided a building code where now each parcel has a specific land use and a specific way the buildings are designed in a way that we are able to achieve environmental sustainability in as far as use of green energy is concerned. Like in the Technopolis, all buildings will have a solar rooftop so that the daylight, the lighting in the building will be through solar. We also provided design for the buildings in a way that the way the orientation of the building is done is that they are able to provide for natural ventilation, natural lighting, and that of course will reduce the amount of energy that is used in that particular building. And therefore, as a Technopolis, we are in the process of ensuring that we achieve a citywide LEED certification in as far as sustainability and environmental compliance is concerned.
Finally, before I let you go, as the CEO, what would be your parting shot to potential investors and potential, leasers?
Now, my parting shot to investors is that Konza Technopolis is open for business. We are an investment destination. We are providing the enabling environment that can enable investors and businesses to thrive. We are providing an environment that is a special economic zone that is able to benefit from all the incentives that has been provided for businesses and companies to develop in a way that they're able to meet their cost, but at the same time enjoying the tax incentives that has been provided by the government.
Right.
Now, this will enable us as a Technopolis to achieve growth of the investors and investment development as far as before Vision 2030 arrives.
Right.
Now, for the investors, my final word is that we are ready. Please come. Let's set up our developments in the Konza Technopolis.
Right.
And in the next few weeks, we'll be doing a major groundbreaking for development in the Technopolis. And therefore, all investors are welcome to partake in this infrastructure that has been provided for by the government.
Right, and that has been the parting shot of the CEO of Konza Technopolis, Mr. John Paul Okwiri. We have been looking at this particular Technopolis, this particular smart city. What does it mean? The government wants to duplicate this, maybe 5 more in the next few years. And as Kenyans, you know, they've been very curious, or we've been very curious since 2008. What has been happening behind the borders now we see. My name is Hibak Said. Thank you so much for watching.
And thank you so much, Hibak, for that detailed report, that detailed coverage of what is happening at the Konza Technopolis. Thank you also for your continued feedback. A lot is coming in. Indeed, CP Nganga Wamwangi, you say on X, on the story of the president slamming judiciary officers for allegedly acting in cahoots with his distractors, you say, unfortunately, the president swore to protect the Constitution of Kenya that establishes the judiciary, just like the executive. There is nothing the president can do other than obey court orders. He has no choice. On our SMS line as well as our WhatsApp, you say, hi, happy new year, and thank you so much for your messages as well as those watching us on terrestrial platforms. We thank you so much for your feedback, those watching us all the way from Kirinyaga County as well as other parts of the region.